Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the 30th episode. Never thought we'd make it this far. The 30th episode of Knights of the Turntable. With me, I have Richard Bailey.
Yo, what's up?
Blue.
What's up, guys? It's your boy.
I ain't gonna do him like that today. I ain't gonna do him dirty. I ain't gonna do him dirty yet. AJ.
How you doing?
Okay. Greetings, gentlemen. I feel like it's been such a long time since we last got together and discussed things, even though it was like 2 days ago. But that's cool, though. I'm glad we ain't here to... AJ's camera's gone. Okay, he's back.
I had no alarm, yeah.
Internet connection is no longer strong with this one.
Yeah, Wi-Fi.
Whoa.
Yeah, and the Wi-Fi's. All right, let's go ahead and jump. We're going to jump right into it. What is in your rotation? What have y'all been listening to? Rich, number one. We're going to start with you again.
Snoop D-O-double-G. Bush.
Where?
Already know. I listened to some Kendrick as well.
Okay.
Pimp a Butterfly. Listen to some Mos Def, surprisingly. Not the new stuff yet. I haven't seen that new video that Joe posted, but I did listen to some of his classic stuff. Joy Badass, because I'm trying to see what he's talking about when he made that statement he made this week. And
we'll address that.
Yeah, definitely. And a little bit of the Tech Nine. I didn't listen to the whole album, but I heard some of it. It's pretty cool. We'll talk about that.
Word, Blue.
Been listening to some of the Tech Nine, gotta represent Kansas City right here. What else have I been listening to? I dove back into Torre and Sky Zoo's. Really, thumbs down. Torre and Sky Zoo.
Barrel Brothers.
Barrel Brothers, bro.
What you know about that Barrel Brothers, man?
Really? Okay, cool. Been listening to that. Still listening to Yellow Wolf. Been listening to Snoop. Basically it. That's been my rotation recently. And some J. Cole.
All right, there it is. I was waiting for it. All right, AJ, what you been listening to?
So, as prescribed by the Turntable Ear Club, I've been listening to the Tech Nine album. I really like that. I have opinions on that. But my main feature for the week, like I kid you not, all of Outkast. I started from the beginning to the end, all of Outkast albums. I've been listening to that religiously on top of Erykah Badu. So, Erykah Badu, Kendrick Lamar, Outkast. That has been my week.
Word. Strange enough, I didn't go through the entire library of Outkast, but I did bump AT-Aliens and Aquemini all the way through. Was jamming those records on the way to work because I got an hour commute or whatever. Other than that, Yellow Wolf hasn't been in heavy rotation. I've just been in the mood to listen to that particular album a good bit. Yeah. Other than that, that's it. Like I listened to Outkast. Oh, Run the Jewels 2. I've been playing Run the Jewels 2 like crazy. So that Outkast, AT-Alien and Aquemini, and Love Story by Yellow Wolf. That's been my rotation lately. Like even the newer stuff that we listened to recently, like the Audio Push and all that. I listened to them a whole lot, and I just took a break from them pretty much. So just pushing some new stuff out there. But let's go ahead and jump into what Rich was talking about. Mr. Joey Badass called himself, what was it, the face of the generation? Rich?
That's correct.
Yeah, he called himself the face of the new hip-hop generation. Let's offer some insight on that. How do y'all feel about that? Did y'all listen to his album that came out this year?
No, sir, I did not.
Not yet.
No? Well, I'll tell you this. The album is worth a listen. The album is good. Would I call him the face of hip-hop? No. I would not. But if he had to be in that stable, if we had a magazine with a cover with people plastered on it that I wanted to be the face of hip-hop, he could be one of those artists. He can butt into that. What about you, Rich? Because I know you listen to Before the Money a good bit.
Yeah, I agree. If you're talking about the faces of hip hop, you want to put him in a list. You got to have Kendrick up there. Even though that album, everybody didn't necessarily agree with the album. Some people on this show as well. But hey, you got to have him in there by default. I thought the album, I thought the album was good, and then I did go back and saw the video because I believe that you posted a video he had made not too long ago. I'm trying to remember that song. The song.
Like Me?
What's it?
Like Me?
That's
talking about the one where he was
with the girl.
Yeah, with the girl. Yeah,
that video was tight. The girl was nice in the video too, but yeah, man. I mean, I like the video. I like a lot of the videos he did. I liked a lot of the songs on the album. I think he's making a tremendous amount of progress. He's definitely popular, but to say he is the face, no. What about people like Tyler? What about Kendrick? Because Tyler's album still a great album. I still listen to that album. So
and Tyler out there killing these interviews too. We had already watched one for the show before. AJ showed me another one when we were hanging out, and I mean he's representing himself very well out there. You know what I'm saying? But dude, have y'all ever listened to Joey Badass before?
Yeah.
I
had to. Want to know why? Do you want to know why I listen to Joey Badass?
Yes.
Erykah Badu. All right, so I've been doing a whole lot of looking into Erykah Badu. One of the three most pivotal people I feel as far as progressive black shit. She didn't have babies with him, so hey, I had to give him a listen.
Wait, she made babies with Joey Badass.
Joey Badass, Andre 3000, and Common. Or what is his name?
No. You're talking about Jay Electronica, bro.
That's what I fudge. You're right. Okay. Scratch everything I just said.
I was like, Joey ain't dipped in that pot yet. We
so sorry.
The Womp Womp? Hey, well,
oh, yeah, you're right.
That's a huge...
That doesn't deserve...
Silence, please.
My bad.
Oh man, you had me super lost. But Joey, we'll come back to Joey in a couple years. We'll see what he's doing. We'll see where he stands as far as being the face of hip hop. Hopefully, he'll be able to sustain his music for a while. Let's talk about a person that kind of is one of the faces of hip hop, at least on the mainstream level, Mr. Kanye West. A video leaked out where Amber Rose was at some kind of event, and they played some Kanye. She said some little lewd things that we're not going to mention on the show, but she happened to let slip that Travis Scott writes Kanye's music. With this being a party event, couldn't really go into detail or ask any, minute information about this particular statement, but do y'all think that what she was saying was just being spiteful and it was inaccurate? Do y'all feel like what y'all have heard from Kanye since he signed Travis Scott reflects and may be credible? Anyone?
The only thing that I can provide right here is my hands in the air, hit him with the shoulders view from both sides. And I will explain right now. Let's start with Amber Rose. You can say that this would be spiteful to hit someone below the belt after having been in a relationship that didn't go as planned, right? Mm-hmm. You want to get back at him, and I mean, let's look at the time frame. Was this really the time frame to get back at him? No, but this is the venue, an opportunity. She could have sent a jab with like completely falsified information just to shoot the jab, right? Let's just take that into consideration.
Right.
On the other hand, we have Mr. Kanye West getting a bit up in age, trying to do some other shit. I don't have time to write all the time. I just signed this new artist that's got a lot going for him. Well, let's just get him to do some shit and put my name on it. That's something I see as a feat. Like my name, if I just attach my name to it, I don't have to work as hard. And that's not a shot at him. It's just a possibility. So I'm literally in this discussion going to be like, hey, I don't know, man, because I don't have hate for Amber Rose after what he went on like the radio and said about her. Oh, I had to take 30 showers before I touched Kim. Let's be honest, dog. Who has a sex tape out and who's fucked more people like that? So, like, you can say it's her getting back, and you can say it's him just being a businessman, having made it this far and not having to do what he used to be good at.
Gotcha. Blue.
If someone's writing for him, he needs to get his money back because that blessings verse, that one not that great, not that great compared to some of the Kanye stuff that we've had. Watching the video, she's she seemed drunk, right? Like, did anyone else catch that? Like, her voice seemed like she had been drinking.
Maybe a little bit, but I can't reference the last time I sat down to talk with Amber Rose, so I don't
Yeah.
really know
No,
Remember
absolutely,
that?
absolutely. So now, if she follows this up with like an actual interview where she actually mentions it again, then that becomes a little bit more credible to just because it's follow up. Amongst that, I mean, now define right like when it comes to artists writing or borrowing ideas, is it because they're spitballing now, like they're throwing out ideas and hey, oh that's a good idea, let me write that. Is that considered credit, or are we talking about actual writing verses?
Oh, I forgot. We have to explain this concept to someone that doesn't write, Sir Charles.
Really, really? Okay,
Well,
cool.
I actually think it touches on things on multiple levels, though. But before we get into that, Rich, what's your opinion?
So, a quick question I have to ask: did Amber Rose get back with Wiz?
No.
No, she's
Oh, she
with
did.
um, what's the name from Bad Boy? Machine Gun Kelly? Isn't she?
Irrelevant is where it is.
Okay, okay. Well, that's good because I mean, I was gonna say yeah, she probably was drunk when she made that statement. If she got back with him, well, we'll just say this right now. Yeah, maybe it's a little bit of spiteful, maybe trying to get attention. I know she got a lot of attention this year so far from some stuff she's been doing. So you know, as for Kanye, I mean, I don't know what exactly he did right. I know if he's making music and only worried about the production, I'm very concerned about his next album because again, I did not like some of those songs that I've heard that are supposed to be on this album. Only one perfect example of something like no man, go back to the drawing board. So I'm not sure what he wrote. I know that the verse he had on Tyler's song, that was great. I don't know if he wrote that. I'm assuming he did write it, but I don't
That's a
know.
good question.
Yeah, I mean that's a great song, but I don't know if he wrote it. But again, it's hard for me to decipher what he wrote and what he didn't write. So I would have to, go back and actually find out that information. I don't know where I would find that information out though.
Gotcha. Well, on my end, before we get to explaining exactly what Luis needs to understand, um, Kanye has had writers for his songs before, like on Yeezus, Lupe Fiasco, and Saha the Prince were credited for writing a couple verses on there,
Oh,
or maybe even hooks or whatever. But in the Travis Scott sense, I've said before that I felt like Travis Scott has been ghost producing for Kanye West because Travis Scott had a sound before he signed with that label that is quite recognizable in Kanye's work since he signed Travis Scott, in my opinion. Um, so I feel like he may have been writing a couple hooks for him. Cool. We know that Kendrick wrote the reference verse for all day. So I don't think it's a question of does he have people writing for him. I think it's pretty certain that he has people writing for him. I think that her thing about Travis Scott was a larger statement than writing a verse, more so writing entire song structures for Kanye West.
Okay.
That's what I think she was getting at. I guess AJ, you might agree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
because
I think that's why some people may take it as spiteful, but I think it's like letting that cat out of that good old box
to be
bag.
honest, like I don't follow everything that happens with the media with like celebrities and stuff, but I saw a lot of shots being thrown at Amber and her taking them shits in stride.
Yeah.
And then for her to just respond with something this is kind of minuscule, honestly. This ain't gonna change shit for real. But take that little jab, wow, just throw that in there, and then for it to be something along the lines that some people already thought, I'm like, I can't even be mad. Like, do you think she's a trooper? And she had to deal. I can only imagine what it's like to have to deal with Kanye as a person all the
Don't
time.
imagine. Don't do that.
24/7?
Mm.
That's got to be something else.
Look, he'll be walking around the house. I'm a fucking genius.
You'll probably hear that shit like he probably take a dump, look back. I'm a damn dump. Look at this. Look.
He wanted framed.
Oh! But I don't know, man. Kanye from Dark Twisted Fantasy, which I enjoyed.
Good album.
Felt like that was a really, really good album. It was too many hands in that album too. Occasionally, just look at All of the Lights, for example. Do y'all remember what the feature list looked like for that song? It was about 20 strong. And I'm like, bruh, that's like the 23 flavors in Dr. Pepper. I don't taste none but like 2 of them O's. So, like, why do we have all of these artists? I can pick up like 3 voices. AJ, go ahead.
I was going to say, you mentioned Dr. Pepper. So at that point, I was going to say, well, all I taste is Dr. Pepper. So in saying that, does that mean that that song that was created was just that one creation? Like
That was a really, really cute way of saying it. But this is an artist making an album. I can understand if we had a live performance with all of these people with individual parts, but you paid extra money for known names to probably do like some choir type harmonizing on there, and we can't even tell. You could have got some no names and we would have never known the difference.
That's actually a really good point. That's a really good point.
Like we never would have known. Like the main people on there, Elton John because he had that solo like harmony part, Kid Cudi and Rihanna. Could have left it at that, and we would have been A-OK, Kanye. But do y'all have any last statements on this particular situation?
It's not going to change anything. The fact that even if something happens, nothing's going to change. It's like, hey, Dr. Dre doesn't write any of his shit. Do we care?
You said who?
Dr. Dre doesn't write any of his shit.
No,
Do we care?
But Dr. Dre,
but my point, do we really care? Not at all.
Nah, it's kind of funny when Dr. Dre be rapping because I know you automatically know that whoever's on the song with him wrote the verse. What's up, AJ?
I just want to say, I just wish people would stop fucking with Amber Rose. It ain't like I'm just like down the ride, but I do feel as though she was shitted on unnecessarily by multiple people, and she's not like a terrible fucking person.
Yeah, it's not like she was out there like bad mouthing a whole bunch of people.
Exactly, because she could have, like, when you're in a relationship, a girl, you know, like, girls, I don't know if y'all have been through this shit, but girls can, like, they can shit on you because when you're in a relationship, you know things about people, and there is no power worse than a woman scorned. So she could have relinquished some, like, spiteful shit. She hasn't. She hasn't shit on anyone. All she did was she wanted her baby, and she wanted him to leave her alone.
Yep. True that. But let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. We're going to discuss Chance the Rapper, who was given the chance to speak at Harvard University, which that's incredibly awesome to me. The fact that, you know, like he wasn't a student there. He's not signed to a major label, but they saw this guy as an influential person to the youth through the acts that he has done, through the music that he's made, for the stuff that he's done in his city. And someone, you know, thought well enough of him to reach out and have him talk. Before we go into the quotes or whatever, we haven't seen the entire speech. I don't think it's online yet, but we have quotes from it that was leaked. Were there anything from the quotes that stood out to y'all the most?
Well, I'll go first because I always have something to say. Okay. Most definitely, he got on there and he was talking about Kanye West and how he views Kanye West in a respectful manner. That really was a different perspective because the only other person that I know that has that level of like respect for Kanye West that I kind of know from, you know, a certain light would be you. That's the only other person I know that I know that respects Kanye West like that. other than that, a viewpoint as far as Mr. West is concerned is like kind of one of those people that he does this thing and everybody likes it, whoop de whoop. So when you see him talking about, yeah, I have a lot of respect because every time he's around him, he presents this idea and he just tells you about how the way the world works in his eyes. I mean, I get that. That's like having a friend that always wants to tell you how things should be. I understand some people will take that, but that just, that's not AJ's perspective of life.
I don't think he was necessarily saying that Kanye is telling him how things should be. It was more so
Well, that
just
was a direct line in the quote.
well, the idea. I was focusing more on the idea part, and me and you have had the conversation about the ideas that Kanye has and stuff like that, um, and the way things should be. I don't think a lot of people will be able to attach to what Kanye is trying to do until it happens, and then he can look back and be like, "I was trying to tell y'all like years ago that this is what we was trying to do." But we'll wait and see what happens. I don't think this next album gonna help anything, but we'll see what happens with that. Blue.
My biggest thing on the article was when he was talking about how he was writing and making songs where he had like ill will towards I guess women in general, and then how he
Yeah.
played it, and he didn't he couldn't he didn't like it.
Yeah.
So and what that tells me is that with Chance, and this is the biggest thing that we all like about Chance, is he makes music that he wants to make.
And that he can appreciate also.
And he appreciates it. So that we kind of mentioned this in the previous podcast. Is when you do the music that you love, when you do something, the topic that you want, you can put more effort into it.
Yeah.
I can guarantee when he was making those songs, it was more likely to fulfill, whether it be a street joint or whatever. But it's one of those things where, like I said, he loves the music that he's doing. Obviously, it's great music, so.
Yeah, and to quote him actually straight from the speech on artistic integrity, he said, "Don't make the music that they like. Make them like the music that you make. It wouldn't be cool if you were just making it so that they fuck with it. So what's the point?" And that bounces off exactly what you were saying, and I greatly appreciate an artist that has that perspective, has reached the level of fame that he has and continues to climb. Rich.
All right, let me give a disclaimer right now. I have not listened to acid rap, so you can play your sound effect for your sound effect for womp, womp, womp. Okay, I gotta get up on Chance. But what I will say is this: of all the quotes that he said, the quote that stood out to me most was about the simple fact that he talked about life goals. The fact that he staying humble, and that he doesn't need to have a fancy house in Paris or nothing like that. He just wants to stay in Chicago, grow old in Chicago, stay building up his city, and trying to give back any which way he can. I rarely hear any artist ever be that humble and say that stuff. Like, I mean, publicly say it. Some do it by their actions, I guess, but you don't even see that half the time. But for him to come out and say that just goes to show you, the way he's thinking about as far as his long-term goals and success. It's not about changing, because a lot of people, when they get famous, they change everything about themselves, the personalities, who they hang out with, and they forget where they came from. This is a guy that clearly will never forget that, and that's right there definitely stands out, I would say.
Word. I definitely agree on all the points that y'all brought up. Those were fantastic quotes that came from it. And I've already kind of seen conversations that Chance has had and grown to appreciate his character a good bit. A lot that stood out for me from this particular speech or interview, I guess, whatever they were doing, were some of the things he had to say about the industry as well. He actually talked about the streaming services. Did y'all see that part?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Bruh, the last sentence in that piece. At the end of the day, all these streaming services are whack as fuck. Because he touched on our issue with Tidal. Like, it's supposed to be this, but it's not that yet, and it's not evident. And he threw something up there that a lot of people that are, even me, one of the people that were like, I like to have the direct to artist connection, and I feel like it would better serve indie. he kind of took a shot here, and he was like, he said it's not really working that way yet. Everybody that was on that stage was signed to a label.
Yeah.
And he's right. Until we see an artist on stage like Chance or Mick Jenkins or something like that, then we don't believe you, basically, or we shouldn't believe you, and people shouldn't embrace it as they have. But hopefully, as they have, hopefully, as the money that they've put into it, like people like Blue right here have put into it.
As they have, Blue.
Hey, what can I say?
Hey, hopefully it's a means to a very honorable end, and we'll start to get those indie partnerships that they so kind of promoted on there. And y'all are all familiar with SoundCloud, right?
Yeah.
Got you. Okay, because I already knew that was kind of a focal point for him to put his music on there, and I never thought that it was so widely accepted like that, and people understood the freedoms that they had with it. But SoundCloud, I think we've talked about it on the show before. SoundCloud is becoming really, really easy for them to use, and I know we talked about it in a meeting, and with talking about hip hop and streaming and stuff like that. All the indie artists kind of gravitate towards theirs because there's no barrier between them and their fans. So was there anything else that stood out to y'all from this?
That he's like a fully developed individual. Like he's not coming into the game as like someone that you'll eventually mold into someone that we can be like, yeah, you know what? He's an all right guy. No, he's coming in as an all right guy with a skill, and he's gonna like do better. Like he's just starting out, man. I can't wait till he does. He blows up.
Right. Yeah, we're still waiting for Surf, man. That's my issue right now. You told me I was gonna get that like a week ago. About a week ago. I'm sorry.
Well, look on the bright side. He said you said it's supposed to come out a week ago. Maybe he'll drop an album with Lil Wayne to delay to commemorate that they both.
No, why you got it?
You're a terrible person.
I should drop a response mixtape to Lil Wayne. Thank you for allowing us to wait and enjoy this time without your album. That's the whole title, the whole thing on the cover. But if y'all don't have any last statements on that, we can move on to the next topic.
When was the album supposed to come out?
A week ago.
How long?
About a week ago, bro.
About a week ago. Okay, that's all I meant to do.
All right. So this next topic. Oh my goodness.
It's been a long time.
It was a light news week. That's the only reason this bad boy on here. But Hip Hop DX and the DX staff decided to do this piece called The Drake Effect, which is 10 times a Drake cosign, introduced budding stars into the mainstream. I didn't even look at the list because I knew a few of the people on there, and I wanted to kind of go into this blind. But have y'all looked at the list yet?
I looked at the list and listened to every song mentioned.
How did you feel about that?
I have a very strong opinion. However, I want to hear what you have to say, brother.
Okay, I'm saving me for next to last. We're going to say you for last. But Blue, did you take a look at the list?
I took a look at the list. I looked at the list, didn't listen to the songs, though.
Rich?
I didn't take a look at the list, but I saw one name on there, and now I know why Joe is a fan of Drake, because I saw Migos mentioned on that list.
Migos!
Yeah. But, no, continue, because I may have something to say if you guys continue to talk about it.
Okay, so for one, all right, I'm looking at the list now, right? And I said I was going to this blind. Of course, you all should know. There's one name on that list I got beef with.
Yes!
There's one name on there towards the bottom I got a big problem with. But at a quick glance, one of the first things that I think about when I'm looking at this list is Drake done introduced some garbage. He done co-sign some straight garbage. My opinion. because y'all know I don't like Migos, and I know that you and Joe have an appreciation for it. Luis even may bump it from time to time.
No,
That's
no,
your
no,
prerogative.
no. Not at
That's your
all. Not at
prerogative.
all.
But I'll list it. I'll list it for the people that are watching or listening. Future, Tony Montana, Migos, Versace, Fetty Wap, My Way, which I did not know that a Drake cosign is what made Fetty Wap popular. I don't know. I'm gonna have to research that a little bit. That doesn't make
I
sense.
know that's one that I was like, the fuck. That's
Yeah,
all I had to
I was
say.
like, that feel like a reach. I love McConan Tuesday, which that's one of the people I feel like he shouldn't have introduced to the game. However you feel about it, that's cool, but not. Meek Mill, actually, I got beef with that one too.
Yeah, that's. I don't know about that one.
Yeah, like Drake. Amen was the introduction of Meek Mill to mainstream.
Meek Mill.
I could agree if that was
If that was
when
true.
if he signed the MMG after that, but yeah, okay, that was dumb.
Reaching for that one. I'm reaching for that one.
YG, who do you love? Now this one does make some kind of sense.
No. Okay, go.
Let me explain it. YG had a following. He had a big following. He blew up a little bit, and then he fizzled out. And then he came back. This is his comeback. But I still wouldn't say Drake is responsible for that comeback though. Not by himself. But he plays a decent part in that particular album's success. AJ, what were you about to say?
No, I just feel as though whoever was going off on this album had this Drake crush before they left the house and combed their hair and whatnot. I think they're giving far too much credit because YG, like you said, YG was established, and for you to say yes, that song was a really that was YG just being out there, right? But you cannot say that the Drake feature is the reason that people are like, hey man, let's go listen to this new guy YG because Drake's on the song. No, dog. There was a really good song, had good production, had a good beat with it, and he laid some verses. Like that's how I feel. And then you get down there to who's the next person after that? Yeah, who was after that?
Wait. Before we get there,
let me get there. Now, wait. Give it some time.
He better say the camera.
All right, try it again.
Wait.
Go ahead, Blue.
But I was gonna say before.
Yeah, because your internet connection was acting up.
Oh, my bad. I was gonna say before we get there, I'm surprised and this would have upset me. I mean, you're upset at one of the other ones. I would have been upset if they would have mentioned J. Cole on this one because a lot of people said, "Hey, I don't really know J. Cole until that on the first album he had Can I Get It in the Morning? Can I Hit It in the Morning with that with that Drake feature?"
Yeah.
So if they it seems like they reach for some of these names.
Yeah, that's true. They could have reached for J. Cole and they would have been wrong then too.
Yeah, because that's Hova's job right there.
Yeah. But this next one,
J. Cole co-signing his damn self made him popular because he was all up Jay-Z ass. But what would you say?
I was gonna say, but the one you're about to mention, I agree with you there, so we can get into that one.
Actually, I'm not skipping The Weeknd first because
The
Weeknd it was birthed and raised by Drake.
Yes. Coddled, nippled, all that other good stuff.
The wicker basket was sewn by that light-skinned Canadian
in the snow with maple syrup.
And that baby was lifted into the stratosphere. Now, the fact that they split up, I'm sorry.
I know.
Because Weeknd is dope. And matter of fact,
co-signing, right?
His other wicker basket that he had, Party Next Door, I don't feel is as good as Weeknd personally. I feel like the Weeknd is more creative.
And he sing way better.
Yeah, and he sings. I mean, shit, he's just more talented than him all the way around. He's more creative. He's more talented. You know, he's continuing to thrive without Drake at this point, which is good. Now the next person on this list.
Hit it with the drums.
Get him. Tell him why you're mad. Tell him why you're mad.
Kendrick Lamar.
Let me tell you something. I'm going to say this, man. I'm gonna have to half-ass it right now because I'm gonna give you a yes and a no. Because let's just start with the no. Let's just say no, and I will go no further into it. No, you're fucking wrong. Drake didn't introduce Kendrick Lamar. Yes, because that would have been, if you look at Drake's following at that time in comparison to what Kendrick Lamar had out, we're going to say, yeah, he got him a little like hey, well, Kendrick Lamar's on the interlude on his album. Like, yeah, just a little bit. But I'm not going to say that Drake opened the world and the doors and Poseidon's gate for Kendrick Lamar.
If the article were to say that Drake opened the door to a larger audience for some of these artists, that'd be a bit more accurate. But the article says introduced them to mainstream.
Yeah.
Introduced them to the mainstream. He did not introduce Kendrick to the mainstream.
There we go.
If anything, Dr. Dre introduced him to the mainstream.
That cosign would have meant more. Absolutely.
Yeah, like he didn't even want the cosign.
No.
At that point.
But he got
Kendrick was already introduced to the mainstream so much that if you ask certain people, one of them may be in this podcast, some people feel like he had the best verse on Drake's album. Just putting that out there. Yeah, Buried Alive. Because you notice the song that they linked to, right?
Yeah.
AJ?
Yeah.
You remember? Yeah. I'm that person. If you can figure that out, I'm sure you can figure that out.
Yeah.
But that Buried Alive verse was fire. In my opinion.
Your opinion.
Album, Drake's album was okay. That was Take Care. That's probably his best album, second best. I don't know, but Kendrick went off on that verse. But that's beside the point. That's a whole other conversation for another day. And we already talked about Party Next Door. But how do y'all feel about this whole Drake effect? And how accurate and inaccurate do y'all feel it was overall?
I want to go back to the beginning. One of the first things that you said was that he introduced some trash, in your opinion. That was one of the things, after reviewing the list, that was one of the things I was thinking. Like, he introduced some people that they're not benefiting, like, hip-hop rap right now. They're not doing what, in my opinion, the pinnacle, like, the stamp is Kendrick Lamar. That progressive black shit that I want to hear, that I want people to be like, damn, maybe I should stop thinking that all dark-skinned chicks are ugly. Yeah, maybe you should stop fucking thinking that. That's what Kendrick Lamar is doing.
And I would like to clarify that wasn't AJ's thoughts. He was using it as an example.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Because
So,
you've seen what happened with the heat that this show would get.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Sorry.
So, just to jump in on So to jump on what AJ said, he brought in people that are not benefiting hip hop. Can we say Drake isn't really benefiting hip hop besides just spreading it out to the masses? Him himself as an artist. If we talk about, go for it.
He is benefiting it in one particular way.
Exposure.
But
No. This is me being as objective as possible because y'all know my feelings on Drake at this point. Before Drake, the gangster persona was the definition in mainstream hip hop.
I can see that.
Drake's super watered down, sensitive, not confrontational, except when he tries to rap on certain beef tracks with people like Common that he know ain't finna meet him in the streets. He kind of lessened that, where you didn't have to be some super hard street cred having dude to be wildly successful in hip hop at this point. Because look at the people that are wildly successful and compare them as far as rappers go.
Nelly.
Do you remember his persona when he was out?
He was.
He was some hood cooking up drugs and shit. Yeah, I remember him being a dope seller with tons of chains.
Just because now I didn't say you had to be a dope seller.
But what I'm
Just
saying
a hard persona. And
is,
then Ja Rule existed too, but
That's both.
but Ja Rule was
That's like
not Ja Rule. Ja Rule was the rule. I tried. That was funny.
Really?
hold on, give me just a moment. But back to where we were actually going. Drake also is more successful than both of those artists we just mentioned.
What? What are we gauging?
Their exposure, their sales, their streams, their
Hold
everything.
on. So you're going to tell me if we look at the numbers, you're going to tell me that Drake is more successful than Nelly?
Yes.
Yeah.
To Google. I'm listening to what you
You
say.
go ahead and Google that. So that's the only benefit that I feel like Drake has had. And some people may not even consider that a benefit. I feel like it is. You may not. I don't know. But Blue, how do you feel?
I'm going to agree with what you just said. How popular they were. If we compare to Ja Rule and of course Nelly. Remember when his mixtape came out? I'm trying to remember the one. His biggest mixtape before he signed with Young Money. That was a huge mixtape, and that was him.
So Far Gone.
So Far Gone was him being himself, and everybody ate it up. It was a great mixtape. Albums
Yes, it was.
completely different. Albums are completely different. So
not necessarily. The one after Take Care was a lot more like the mixtape. It's not, and it's real well.
Yeah, those albums, right here. That's where I was, right there. So now I can agree with some of the ones that, as we mentioned, aren't really benefiting hip hop. Yes, and Drake cosign will help. But like I said, as we mentioned, Kendrick, I completely disagree with that one because Section 80 I thought was great. I mean, for the people that did listen to it, that really. I don't want to say that's the one that put him on because it wasn't. It was the one before that. What was it? Overdose? It was Overdose, right?
Overly dedicated.
Yes. So yeah, that one I think was the one that he actually came out. That one, Section 80, and then of course that debut album to the masses. That's really what put him on. I don't think he helped Kendrick. Meek Mills. I think Rick Ross helped Meek Mills more.
Yeah, you know what? Like the Kendrick one is off, but I think the Meek Mills one is the farthest off out of all of them.
Yeah, because Meek Mills had a whole underground career before Drake met that man.
AJ, we're not arguing underground though.
Meek Mill.
We're talking about the
exposure.
Okay. Let's just say, all right, as far as he had a following that transcended his underground career before he met Drake.
Yes, that's why he was signed to a label before that collaboration hit.
Yeah. So and then if we want to kind of judge it, I mean, think of it this way: how many of Drake's followers follow Meek Mills or would go that route? Like realistically, what's the percentage that you think?
That's a good question.
I really don't have too much insight on that particular thing because I don't listen to Meek Mills heavily like that. Well, not by choice because I could, you can hear him everywhere because he's that fucking loud. But,
okay. So with that said, how many of Drake's followers listen to Kendrick like that in the way he's going?
Well,
same situation. Same situation. I mean, it's one of the things.
Because right now is Nas versus Jay-Z as far as Kendrick and Drake go though. So
you're absolutely right. It is, and you can't.
Wait, it is?
Compare.
Oh man, go on Twitter and see what happens.
Wow.
Yeah, because because I mean, it's not with Jay-Z. They're two completely different styles, although they beef. But that's a whole different. That's a whole different.
Yeah. So are Drake and Kendrick beefing as far as I'm unknown?
No.
People
we're talking about the comparisons as far as the top two artists. Yeah. They're the ones that are going against each other.
It's two different. It's two drastic styles. I mean, it's like comparing an R&B artist to a hip hop artist, which that's really what it is.
Yeah,
basically. What were you about to say, Rich?
Well, I got a quick question. I'm going to give my thoughts on the topic but I have a quick question now. Are people trying to look for the next Jay-Z Nas to make this comparison?
Well, the comparison was more so there before To Pimp a Butterfly came out.
Yeah.
I don't really think too many people can make that argument now, though.
Yeah, and even then, they can't, because if Kendrick says something, is Drake going to respond?
No, because yes, actually, yes, he will. He'll respond very passive aggressively because that's what he did with the Control verse. Because he, in the intro to his album, he subtly referenced the Control thing and responding to people like that. So, you know.
If Drake's not going to say it with his chest, he shouldn't say that out.
Oh my God!
So AJ, what did Google tell you?
Google told me, give me two Drake songs that are classics right now. This is my question. That are classics. Like this is.
How does this go from
because
what was said?
Well, this is. I just have. That was my question because I haven't I need time to research that. I ain't finna look at everybody's career, 2 careers in like 2 minutes. But give me a Drake song that's a classic that'll stand the test of time.
Uptown is a classic.
Okay,
No?
that's one. What was that?
That's all I know because I really don't listen to Drake.
Okay, so just tell me something. If we can recite the words to this song called Country Grammar.
We're not about to talk about the quality of the song because the quality,
No, that's not quality. Because that's not. It's not like that's deep rap. It's the fact that he put these things out and they've stood the test of time. Like people can walk down the street and know the words that are like, and these are like regular people that are not my shade of black.
So if we talk about Country Grammar though, but isn't Country Grammar dated though? Whereas a classic transcends time and doesn't feel dated. For example, Money Trees. We can say Money Trees no matter when you listen to it. It will have that same effect.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna make a quick statement. Listen, okay, I'm gonna give you the nice guy answer, and then I'm gonna give you the asshole answer, okay? Because you asked earlier about, I think that you said it best, Charles, when you said that if the article was about the people who perhaps Drake helped to open up a new audience, you know, get those artists a little bit more exposure to other audiences, I think that was 100% accurate. Because some music Drake did is okay. It's okay. 0 to 100, good song, okay. But here's what I have to say. The fact that this particular article, the minute when I saw Kendrick on that list, I lost all respect. I don't know who wrote the article, but I lost all respect for the article, the writer of the article, as well as the website, because they obviously didn't do their research. Because the thing is this, you know, Drake is a good artist for some, but for me, when I hear a song like Started from the Bottom, Now We Here, this guy never started from the bottom. So what the heck are you talking about, started from the bottom, now we here? He was playing a rapper on Degrassi and a basketball player.
Hey,
so
when
this
he,
guy never, what was you going to say?
I was going to say, when he was talking about that song, he was talking about after he fell from that wheelchair. He started from the bottom.
I got you. That's good. Yeah.
Resurrection.
That had to be. You know, on top of that, you know, I don't know if you noticed, but when this guy came out, it's like they was hyping the hell out of him. Like this is going to be one of the major artists you want to keep an eye out for. And I mean, I just wasn't impressed. You know, well, before he dropped the first album, the mixtape, they're like, yeah, keep your eye out for this guy. And it's like, man, no. I mean, maybe he's better now. Some people like him, so yeah, he is better now. But to me, it's like there was hype before he even really got into being good like he is now. But that's my opinion.
Well, I appreciate that. I definitely understand exactly where you're coming from. We pretty much think the same about the whole situation. This is a pretty terrible list. Like, and it's crazy because there are people that Drake has influenced, and this list just went all over the place. And you know what? Honestly, Future, did he really introduce Future?
That's a good question.
I don't agree.
I don't agree that he did.
Nah, I think I'm gonna go with a no on that one. Um, yeah, they should have worded this article a little bit different
They
for
should have
sure.
never done the article.
Oh well, that too. Yes, yes, you're right. You're right. You know, I'm gonna give you a round of applause because you get the wants way too often. But let's go ahead and jump
Way too
into.
often, but he be asking for them
He
things.
does. He does. All right, so let's jump into the main topic. Some scientists in London universities, two young London universities have come together and say that they have proof that rap is the most important music since the 1960s. Now, we're going to get into the details on that and how we feel about it specifically, but let me give you some of the science that they gave. Because not only were they talking about the appearance of hip hop on the Billboard charts during the 19 from the run of 1960 to 2010, they also took 30-second clips and listened to them and grouped them based on harmony uh, all around. So not only did they listen to songs that were automatically labeled as hip hop, they listened for the influence of hip hop on other genres, which we know damn well that it's influencing other genres increasingly. From pretty much anything, you're gonna have some hip hop mixed in, even country at this point. So there's a country rapper, not Bubba Sparks, by the way. I don't remember what his name is, but yeah, that's really a thing. So um, they went through 17,000 songs that appeared during that period and concluded that rap caused the most dramatic shifts on the charts. So let's get the blanket thoughts from everyone on this particular finding. AJ, we'll start with you.
Well, I want to start with two things. Firstly, there was Over and Over Again with Nelly and Tim McGraw, just saying, and then it was the amount of 17,096 songs that they went through. And there was a link where you can read the article. I read the entire article, man, and the things that they covered as far as those 17,096 songs was ridiculous. So they not only covered like the pitch and the range and the sounds as far as the structures of the songs and how they became more prevalent throughout the period of the 80s and increased all the way to the 2000s. They also covered topics, which was something that I thought was really cool. The topics that were more prevalent or that became more prevalent from the 80s to the 2000s were influenced by hip hop, and there's a whole chart of it and how it was this narrow little feet, and then when you get to the 80s, it just like got all kinds of wide, and that was just how the graph expanded. I don't have the actual numbers like on recall, but it was proven by far, without a doubt, that hip hop was is the most influential group of genre of music from that period that they researched. That is this 1960 to 2010.
To bounce off the whole thing about the topics, another link that kind of coincided with this was Hip Hop DX dropping a news piece talking about how hip hop was the #1 streaming musical genre, and in that piece they talked about how hip hop heads like to talk music more than any other genre, which probably influences how topics become more prevalent because of hip hop. Because out of like hip hop, EDM, rock fans, and pop fans, 27% of hip hop fans strongly agreed that they discuss music with friends. Because honestly, I feel, and it's probably because it's more relatable to me. And y'all know we have conversations about hip hop all the time, but hip hop, I feel like I need to have more conversations about what hip hop is talking about, more so than other stuff that I listen to. Because like I'm deep into rock, I listen to folk a good bit, but not much of that is like, hey, that's something that I need to address or speak of with my friends and try to come to some kind of forlorn conclusion. But Blue, thoughts?
My thoughts is they proved it. I agree with it because think of it this way: hip hop has so many shades of it. I mean, as you mentioned, you see it in everything, and it's adapted. I mean, throughout the years. How many genres are still being adapted like that? How many genres do you see progress? I mean, you see it, but not like hip hop. Hip hop is constantly talked about. I mean, rappers have huge influence.
Mhm.
So I agree with it. I mean, think of it this way: there's going to be a time where I don't know. This might happen to many of you guys. You can, you're riding in the car. You have your mom come in. You really can't play some of these hip hop songs based on, like, for example, my mom's 41, or pardon me, she's 67. I can't play a lot of this stuff. There's going to be a point where with hip hop, my son will be able to play something and I won't be shocked or anything along those lines because, hey, hip hop has adapted over the years, starting off with, I mean, as you said, the 80s.
'60s.
So 60s. Oh, since the no 60s, but it became huge in the 80s,
Oh, okay,
and then
yeah,
from
yeah,
there
yeah.
it progressed on. I mean, the progression has changed dramatically, especially with how it started.
True that, true that. Richard Bailey.
Quick comment. Hey, I'm very much looking forward to Blue Junior's thoughts on hip hop when that time comes. Let me go ahead and say this right now. I do agree with a lot of what was said. I do agree that they put a lot of research into this and they prove it is legitimate. I do think that hip hop is definitely influential, influenced pop culture. Um, every generation. You know that they're making a movie about you know
NWA,
NWA, was it NWA, right? Yeah,
NWA.
yeah. So I mean, yes, it's influencing. We had the Notorious movie, stuff like that. So it influences pop culture as well. Then more recently, though, I do think that it is the most important in genre right now for two reasons. Number one, look at a lot of the stuff that's been going on in the world as of late. You had people like Kendrick Lamar drop his album after all the incidents that took place, all the controversy. We already know what it is. We're not going to talk about that particular part, but a lot of this stuff is a response to things that have happened, and him basically diving more into his personal thoughts to connect with those that possibly also have personal demons as well. And then even up to as recent as Snoop dropped his album. Now I'll tell you right now, a lot of people they'll be like, "Oh, I'm not a fan of '70s music. I don't." They probably won't even give it the time of day because they'll be like, "Well, that's what my parents listen to, and therefore, like, I don't really care about that type of music." Snoop put out an album that pretty much anybody can listen to, no matter how old they are, and they will like the music. Just about everybody who I've talked to about this album loves the album, the sound, everything. And he's basically introducing a lot of stuff that you probably would have heard from '70s music. So to me, yes, it influences a lot of genres, and mixing those two together is, I would say, yeah, that's pretty important. I would say more important and more creative than some of the other music that has been out over the last several years.
Absolutely, absolutely. AJ had some stuff he had to get handled, so he had to bounce out of the show. But he'll
Uh-oh.
definitely be
Real,
back whenever we do the next like first impression and stuff like that. But
real
um,
quick, one big thing to mention also, let's talk about language because hip hop influences language when it comes to terms. I mean, you hear turn up, you hear swag a lot. And before hip hop, I mean, was there a big influence? Has any previous genre had such a huge influence on language besides hip hop, as much as hip hop has?
That's true.
I got to co-sign that one. I definitely agree for sure, and I'm sure it's influenced a whole lot more than that. And I hope that we get to see more things influence as we go forward. Because I mean, we got Chance doing speeches, at Harvard and stuff. Kanye just got his honorary doctorate.
You got
Um,
Bun B over there in
got
Houston.
Bun B teaching a course. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's so dope to me. And then like To Pimp a Butterfly was such a phenomenal piece of music and I'm sure that that's going or is influencing a lot of younger people and even older people. So I hope that that influence never stifles out. And then on the flip side, I hope that artists recognize that they have this influence and start to use it a bit more constructively, basically.
You pointed
Um,
that out.
yeah. But do y'all have any last words on this topic? No? No? We good? We good?
As AJ would say, swag.
Word. In spirit, he is with us. But that's been the show. That was the main topic right there. I think that was a good thing for us to talk about. Feel free to hit us on all the topics that we spoke of. Hit the comments in the section down below, whether you're on YouTube or you're on the Koalition.com. Let us know what you think. But what's final words all around from you, gentlemen? Blue, you first.
Support your artists. We mentioned the influence of hip hop. Gotta support your artists. If you're not streaming, go buy your albums, please. Don't be downloading them. Listen to that Yellow Wolf because, as we mentioned, hip hop's influences, and as it continues to adapt, that album is completely different from what a standard hip hop album is. And while we're at it, same with Tech Nine. Tech Nine really does do that the best when you think of what hip hop's influence has done, because you see a lot of fans that you normally would not see being pulled in.
Now, I won't agree that he does it the best, but he definitely does it the most, and probably was one of the earlier people to start doing it and try to break down those barriers. Like, for sure. Did you have anything else to add?
Support your artists and Drake, Trash Boat.
Richard Bailey.
Yeah, you were supposed to say also support J. Cole, but I guess that it was not said. Let me go ahead and just say this. I know it has been said many times before that now is the time to be into hip hop. I agree with that 100%. I started this year off with Joey Badass and Lupe. Haven't stopped yet, and listening to everybody that has dropped music. It has all been great. So for those that maybe they have not thought about giving certain artists a chance, definitely should check out the music, because you may find yourself bopping your head more than one time. But yeah, all artists are putting out great work, and I look forward to hearing more projects coming out. I know Nas got an album dropping this summer. I know there's a whole bunch of stuff dropping this year, so looking forward to hearing some more good music.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be a really busy year. They're giving us more content than we can work with, so we got plenty of stuff to talk about it. And look out for our first impressions. We'll be doing them for every project as we can. Some of them are going to be a little bit later than others because there's a lot of music out there right now. But also hit the annotation if you're watching this on YouTube after we record it. It's in the top right. If you'd like to donate to us, because we are trying to keep this going and increase the quality, we'll probably get more guests on here, get more sound effects, so we can womp Luis with the utmost perfection whenever he deters the quality of the show. But hit us with comments. We like your feedback. We'd like to hear what people have to say. If you ever want to be on the show, let us know. We may work out a way to have some fans on here every now and then. But this has been Nights of the Turntable, and we greatly appreciate it. We will see y'all next time.
Peace.